Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. Today in 1691, George Fox died. George Fox, the founder of the Society of Friends. The Quakers, as they're also known, were persecuted in the 17th century because they were opponents of much that the government stood for. They wouldn't take up arms, for example. They fought against unjust taxes, or taxes that they saw to be oppressive of the poor. They held views which were thought to be heretical, different from the ones that the religious views the government promoted, whether it was the Puritan views of Cromwell or the more sort of Anglican views of Charles II. They were out on a limb and were persecuted for it. But on one occasion, after being arrested, George Fox was given an audience with Oliver Cromwell, and they talked for a considerable length of time, at the end of which Oliver Cromwell, apparently with tears in his eyes, said that George Fox would be welcome at his home any day, and then he set him free. Similarly, Charles II, when he came to the throne, he had George Fox arrested because he suspected him of sedition. George Fox wrote him a number of letters from prison explaining his position, why he believed what he did. On this occasion, there was some result to the conversation. 700 of those who'd been arrested as Quakers under the Cromwells were released. It struck me, thinking about George Fox in this context, how important it is to have integrity, to know where we stand, and not to be afraid to explain it to other people if they ask, not to kowtow to other people just because we want to be seen to agree with them, but to be clear and firm about our own views about things, whether it's about society or about politics or about religion. That's what George Fox did, and he did it unashamedly and without fear, doing what we would describe as speaking truth to power. And there are situations where we need to speak truth to perhaps people that we are close to, but perhaps feel a little bit in awe of and a bit anxious about upsetting. Maybe we need to say something true to them. Maybe we need to join organisations which corporately speak truth to power. But we need sometimes to be clear about where we stand and not to be afraid to fight for the values which we believe in. Sometimes it won't have any effect at all, as indeed happened between George Fox and Cromwell. There was no outward result to the fact that they got on so well, though there was with Charles II, with those prisoners being released. And sometimes there'll be no outward result for the actions that we take as a result of following up what we believe in. But the fact that we've done it is what's important. And that's, I think, something I'm going to take with me into today, to try and make sure I have that kind of integrity, so that I know where I stand, I know what I believe about things, and I'm not afraid to defend those views and act upon them.